Hello? Hello? Okay. Sorry about that. So I wanted to talk a bit. I wanted to talk a bit about kiwifarms, Reddit, and 4chan, which are three different places online. I'm assuming most people know what 4chan and Reddit are. I didn't plan what to say, really. I just kind of wanted to have a conversation. Hello, hello. Okay, so everyone's welcome to come into my stream here and have a conversation. I'm only gonna ban if, like, I don't know, like, you know, I don't, you know, let's have a conversation, okay? Okay, so where do we begin? I guess I checked my kiwifarms thread today. Kiwifarms is some site where people... Is my internet okay? Okay. Oh, I'm uploading to YouTube right now. Oh my god. Wait, hold on. I forgot I was uploading. Let me fix this. I'm falling apart here. I'm all nervous and shit. Sorry. Okay. My internet should be good now. Sorry. Okay, so kiwifarms. It's some site where people anonymously gossip about other people online. And you know, there's a lot of people online who have like a bit of notoriety or like visibility. I don't know, like there's YouTube creators and stuff, and just different people with different amounts of visibility. The community dedicated to discussing eccentric people who voluntarily make fools of themselves, explore abnormal psychology in the minds of internet crazies. Okay, okay. But here's the thing though, like, well that's Carrie from Castlevania 64. It's Carrie, but... So, that description... It kind of, it maybe sounds innocent. Maybe that sounds kind of innocent, but... Like, this kind of site is kind of a breeding ground for a certain type of, like, attitude or worldview. And the attitude and worldview that I'm talking about has to do with a desire to see people being torn down. Like, basically, just, like, tearing people down. So... It's not like an unbiased discussion of eccentric people. It's a biased discussion of eccentric people. Biased in that it's to tear these people down. And it's like anonymous, like these people's accounts are not linked to their real life shit at all. It's just kind of like these anonymous accounts. And some of these accounts have thousands upon thousands of posts. And like the type of stuff you see from there, let me think for a bit. I don't want to just like ramble without thinking. You see a kind of similar behavior on some subreddits. There's like gossip subreddits where people, like Reddit allows this kind of thing to happen too. Probably not to the same extent. I think Reddit in general is, their site rules are probably more tame. So people can't get away with like as bad of things on Reddit probably. And you know, 4chan has been known for a long time to be a place where this kind of stuff would go on. But from my experience in the last couple of years, like I first really started browsing 4chan in 2013. Like I've been on the internet forever, and like I know 4chan started a long time ago. I just never used it. Like I was on the Something Awful forums when I was 15. That was like 2004 or 2005 or something. So that was like a long time ago, and that was like pre 4chan, and I was there, and like eventually Something Awful also had a place called Hell Dump. I think that was kind of similar, where it's kind of like mocking people who are posting on the site. But I was too busy like playing Melee and stuff, going on Smash boards, and like going to college and doing artwork and stuff, that I didn't like. I wasn't really on 4chan until they started talking about me, which is in 2013, like AGDQ 2013. That's like kind of where they really started to talk about me. And like that wore me down mentally for sure. Like it was like kind of just like a long period of time of like kind of feeling shitty about people kind of shit talking me. But you know, despite everything, despite like transitioning and like posting wild thoughts online and like just doing whatever the fuck I want and uploading everything, despite like everything I've done and all this spectacle that I've created, it actually feels like largely 4chan has been pretty chill lately. Oh yeah, FYAD. I used to try to browse it, but it was so like hard to like parse that I just kind of didn't. But yeah, it's like occasionally there'll be maybe a thread about me on like V or something, or like poll or whatever on 4chan, and those threads can get kind of fucked up. And like occasionally you like, it's not that often that it's that bad. Like I think that only sometimes, and V tends to be the worst. If something happens and people are shit talking me on V, that's like tends to be the worst. But there's been like regular speedrunning threads on 4chan since, I don't know, 2013 or earlier, and those threads have mostly calmed down and been like more, I would say, kind of more accepting. So 4chan doesn't even seem like that big of a deal. It kind of feels like there's still like, I'm speaking purely from my personal perspective here, because I will regularly search for the word Narcissa on 4chan using a Google search to search like the last 24 hours or the last week or whatever. Like I'll find threads constantly. Like, I'll probably do that like every day. Like every day I'll check. And maybe that's just because I like to tap into the hive mind. Maybe that's because I like attention, or to like get some kind of feedback from existing or whatever. Or maybe it's like I'm lonely or something, but I do it. And so I'll find threads talking about me. And like typically on 4chan it feels so tame. It feels like it's kind of like John numbers, or like they'll just post meme webms of me or something. And like sometimes the posts will be nice and they won't be mean at all. Other times they'll just like, I don't know, sometimes be kind of mean, but it's just like noise that I've already seen before. It's not that bad. So I feel like 4chan's not that bad. And I have noticed as well that like I think when kind of more severe kind of transphobic shit starts happening there, it actually gets moderated and deleted. And so it feels like it's actually being actively moderated, and overall 4chan doesn't seem that bad. And it makes me wonder, like, I don't really know any details at all, but I almost wonder kind of conspiracy where it's like, well, Moot works for Google now, right? And he supposedly sold the site to some like Asian guy or something who like barely speaks English, but then I don't know who's running the site or who's moderating it, but like it almost makes me wonder if like, I don't know, whatever. I don't really know. I'm not sure here to get into some kind of conspiracy or whatever, but it just seems like 4chan's decently moderated actually lately, just in my own experience of searching for myself there. But then there's Reddit, right? And specifically, there was a few subreddits. So, there's like, yeah, the Shadow Council, there you go. There's like a subreddit that Cyberdemon made a long time ago called Speedrun Celebrities, which was like kind of funny, and it was mostly just about me. And it was like maybe a bit of rude stuff in there, but I don't know, it was kind of whatever. It wasn't very popular. But then there's this other subreddit that I've talked about before, Sam and Tolkien. It hasn't been as mean to me lately, I think, but definitely back in like 2016, I was like really torn up, and I actually like, okay, I want to explain something. Like, I've never been like a violent person ever. Like, ever. But like, after reading a lot of posts on that subreddit back in like 2016, like, it would sometimes get to the point where people would talk about me and like kind of like take anything that I output and like transform it into something like awful, and then like try to like reflect that onto me. And so like anything I would do would be like twisted and then reflected onto me. Yeah, I guess now it's like this boogie bullying subreddit now. That's like what it's turned into. And I'm sure like, and actually this is almost relevant to what I'm talking about. So like back in 2016, like, and even maybe in 2017 sometimes, it got to a point where like the frustration that I had with that place got so bad, it actually caused like violent thoughts to enter my mind. Like I felt violent, and I've never been violent, but like it actually started making me feel violent, like towards like the poster. Like I felt violent, and like I think that's just kind of, I don't know what to make of that. I guess it's just like, if the world sees you a certain way, and like keep in mind I didn't have many other outlets. I'm mostly like isolated. The internet is my primary outlet like in my life. And yeah, like if that was like the primary feedback I was getting, and it was all twisted, where it felt like I could do nothing right, and everything I would do would be, all the bad would be taken from it, all the good would be ignored from it, and then all the bad would be like highlighted and plastered onto me. And it just made me feel violent and angry. And that is kind of scary, I think, that actually happened. Like, it actually happened. Like, I actually thought those things. And I don't know, it was like a really dark time in my life. And like occasionally there'll be a series of posts and shit that get like kind of bad. It hasn't felt so bad lately, but that stuff just kind of goes on and on and on, and like sometimes it gets kind of fucked up, because like even though these people are anonymous, they have usernames, and they post with the same username for years, and like you can see the kind of obsession, like the kind of negative obsession and like the like hatred coming out. So it just kind of makes you lose your trust in like humanity. It kind of makes you lose faith in other people, and that's kind of scary. And like it's kind of based on this anonymity, because if these people's accounts and stuff were linked to like their other online stuff, like I don't know what these people are like in real life. And like I know that like obviously some people only use the internet a bit and they're just like focused on other stuff in their life, but I don't know. It's just kind of like, it feels like it's dangerous. It feels dangerous to me to allow like swarms of anonymous people to channel their hatred together into like a pool of hatred and want to see people dragged down and burn, basically. That's what it feels like. So I mean, I think for some people it's like an outlet, and they can get away with it because there's no consequences for them. There's no, like, they're not putting themselves on the line at all. Actually, I read R9K. That's actually a place that I read. That's one of the boards that I read on 4chan. And I don't know. It's it is what it is, I guess. Actually, something about R9K that actually appeals to me is that because it's not like LGBT focused or whatever, but then sometimes you start to see, like when you start to see people, and like I don't mean to get all agenda pushing right now, but just to see people I swear I'm not trying to push an agenda. It's just like when there is a kind of like trans acceptance or like a kind of nice like just like kind of post like, well, that feel when no trans girlfriend to cuddle or something like that. It actually kind of feels it's weird. It almost feels like R9K is like a battleground for like cultural issues in a way, because it's hard to explain this, but it's like it kind of feels like that though. It does. But sometimes those posts are nice, and other times people are like, kill yourself, and it's just like, oh, well. But usually those negative posts on there are not so like you can just kind of see through the edginess, and it doesn't even feel that bad, you know? I don't know, whatever. I'm not trying to make this like an agenda pushing issue at all, really. I'm just talking about it. But kiwifarms feels so bad though. Like, it's this weird website, and some of these people have like thousands of posts, and again, it's this kind of thing where they're taking all the negative and like twisting it really hard. Like I just saw a post the other day that was like so like brain dead and stupid and horrible, and actually I wonder if I could find it. Okay, so I had Moopin emulator. Okay. I started thinking about this because like I had Moopin emulator open. I want to show you this post, okay? Like, this is just so like okay, hold on. Okay, so this post, right? I had Moopin emulator open, and this is like the response to it. It's like, this is your post, really? It's like, okay, you just drop the N-word right there, and then starts talking about serious Castlevania 64 speedrunning. So like this person apparently follows speedrunning closely, apparently, or they're trying to impose some sort of speedrun elitism or concept that they're like involved with speedrunning into this, right? And then they completely misunderstand my intention, because I'm not actually speedrunning with Moopin. I just wanted to maybe check out some, like, obviously Moopin has value as a way to look at memory addresses and use save states and stuff. So it's, like, useful. And so, like, and of course, like, misgendering me or whatever. But, like, it's just, like, this got rated informative 11 times. So like 11 people saw this and said, this is informative. Thank you for being informative. Thank you for informing me. So it's like this network of like, it just feels like it's like that post is like an example of like the worst, like who is that? Like whoever that is should be like, they should be fucking like, like, I'm just asking, like, what, like, is this person involved in the speedrunning community? They're probably involved. I'm just saying, like, this is the kind of shit that gets posted and then gets like agreed upon from like 11 other people. Like that shit just like goes on, and like I don't know. These places become places where people just like, okay, I'm running out of words. Actually, I'm out of words. I have no words. But it also makes me think about like how certain places online are kind of like breeding grounds for certain types of behavior. And when you have a place that's like with such like a low bar, like that place, you have such a low bar. And it's all like anonymous, and it's all like obsessively kind of stalking people and like focusing only on anything that could be construed negatively, even as something as innocent as having Moopin emulator open. you know, so one of the things these people say is like, maybe if you stopped doing fucked up stuff, we'd stop posting about you. But it's like, actually, I could do anything. I could just breathe. I could like drink some water or something, and they could find a way to turn it into something like, they'll find a way to twist it into something horrible. And it doesn't, and that reflects on them. It doesn't reflect on me. It doesn't reflect on me. It reflects on them. They are finding ways to twist things negatively and then like spewing it out. And this is a place that encourages that behavior. And so it encourages all these people to get together and see things through the worst possible lens and then spew that out, then all agree with each other to try to like tear down certain targets or whatever. That's the internet we're living on right now. That's terrible. That's actually terrible. It should not be like that. And I speak not just for myself, but as like a representative of humanity, that this is like not good. This is not good. And like, you know, we can talk about free speech and we can talk about anonymity and we can talk about all these things and all these like controversial kind of like ways of dealing with this kind of thing. But I'm telling you this right now, this is a problem. This is a problem. This is a problem. So what is the solution? Is there a solution we can take? Like, I'm telling you, like, long run, this kind of thing should not go on because there should not be this kind of breeding ground for this kind of behavior. That should not exist. It should not exist. Listen, you can tell me that I ruined my career or that I did everything on my own accord. I'm not trying to shift blame. I'm just merely observing certain behavior online. And I want to talk about it. So you're welcome to talk to me. But I'm saying that the internet is not such a great place sometimes. And that kind of sucks. So we could have a conversation about this if you want to. Sometimes speak out important and valid concepts that would not be able to be referred to in moderated forms. I don't necessarily disagree with you. How old are the people saying these things? I don't know. I'm assuming they're in their 20s or like their 30s or like maybe they're teenagers. What do I think the solution should be? Okay, well, okay, picture this, right? Picture this. What if your posts online are linked to your other social media? So if you go to Kiwi Farms and then you like try to drag someone really hard, then that would reflect on you online elsewhere as well because it would be linked together with your other stuff. I don't know how that would work, but there is a conversation lately about the internet sort of turning into a kind of trinet between like Google, Amazon, Facebook, sort of like winning the internet almost. And I don't know what the consequences of that are. That's what they do in China. Sounds terrible. See, China has this social credit system where like everything you do, like they have mass surveillance, everything you do is monitored, and you have a citizen's score, like social score or something. And they're implementing this, and that's like actually something that they're doing. And some people may say this is a thing of like mass control, and it kind of is. And so where, you know, life is insanely complicated. This is not like a simple issue at all. It's not simple. But I see things like Kiwi Farms, and I think that this is a net negative for humanity. If you try to justify this by saying it's free speech, it's still it's like that's kind of like just justifying something that is a net negative for humanity. And like what do you do about that? Yeah, I think China has stuff like like for example, they have like mass face recognition. They have like cameras everywhere or something, and like they can get like a database of people who are like jaywalking, for example, and like then they know that you're jaywalking, and then like your citizen score drops or some shit like that. I don't know all the details, but like by 2020, I think they're really seriously implementing the social credit system fully. So China's actually doing that. I don't know what that's gonna do to their society. I don't know. I don't know what's up with like, yeah, United States is kind of unique. For one thing, there's like the gun violence, but there's also like a lot of really prosperous companies here and stuff. I don't know. It's just like, where are we all headed, right? Because I'm not here to drag down other people. I'm not here to hurt other people. But I am here to like I do want to be here though. Like I don't want to like I don't want to hide. I don't want to log off. I want to exist. I want to stream and I want to post. And I guess with me personally, I'm not afraid to do all of that under the same like identity. I don't like have like a
I highly respect you for your strength in this matter. I'm a nobody and the hate hurts me. But you're a somebody, so more people target you. I don't know how you survive this, but I highly respect you for continuing to stay strong.
Well, thank you, first of all, and I seriously struggled in like 2016. It was pretty fucking hard, but things have felt pretty good lately. But I mean, you know, I've been like on and off between like doing well and like also just being like, and just kind of feeling like I don't want to do anything, or just depression. But honestly, it feels like the worst thing. I feel like the worst thing is like the feeling of severe isolation and distrust of humanity. That's a really bad feeling. I want to feel like I can trust. Like when I was younger, I had a lot of like faith in other people, a lot of trust in other people, like strangers. Like I would be relatively secure like around strangers, and I would feel at ease. If I don't want to do anything negative, then don't do it. Provide good content instead of this complaining and sadness. I'll be successful. I'm working on Zelda speedrunning. I've been working on it maybe 4 hours a day for the last few days. I'm gonna keep working on it. So I got stuff going on. I'm just doing stuff, and I think I'm actually doing pretty well, other than maybe not financially secure, but I think like mentally I'm doing pretty well. I mean, that's probably true, Tom Lube. But something I've noticed though is like, it seems that like it's easier to draw out negativity from people. Like, what I mean is like you can do something that's cool, and well, I don't know. It just feels like the negativity gets like drawn out longer over time, and like it's more like obsessive, and it's just out there. That's just humanity. I mean, I guess it's so hard to compliment someone genuinely. Yeah, I mean, like it's hard to take compliments too. It's like it's not like I want people to run up to me and be complimenting me all the time. It's like most of the time when people compliment me, I'm just like, okay, like, all right. So I don't know what to say really. I'm actually in a pretty good mood. I feel like I'm just doing pretty well. Shit, I don't know if I have any much more to say. I guess like I wonder like I just don't want it to be a situation. Okay, here's like kind of why I'm talking about this. I don't want it to be a situation where this kind of stuff gets out of control before like anyone who has any really power does anything about it. Like, you don't want like evil brewing or like something bad brewing over time and like just ignore it. It's like you want to keep your eye on it and know that it's gonna be okay. And so I don't hide away. I've read like every little piece of criticism that everyone's ever thrown at me, pretty much. So I keep my eye out. It's just, yeah. I guess it's just like where's the internet headed? Where's the internet headed? I consider myself like I live on the internet. Like, I just live here. But like, yeah, I don't know. I don't have too much more to say, really. I'm happy to sit here and talk if anyone wants to, though. I don't know, it's just beer. It's a pretty light beer. Have one of these, I feel pretty okay, I guess. Yeah. I'm kind of shy, actually. Oh, by the way, someone on kiwifarms was like, why don't you make an account and post on there or whatever? And it's like, maybe I would, but like, am I putting myself at risk by signing up on that site? I don't mind talking to these people. Like, sometimes people post the most ridiculous things, and it'd be nice to correct them or just like talk to them. If anyone from that site wants to talk to me and just have like a real conversation instead of spewing this kind of like image manipulation, meme shit into the void, you know, you're welcome to talk to me. Maybe as a proxy. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I shouldn't even sign up for it, so I don't think I will. Yeah, I feel like maybe just having a stream like this, or just like having some tweets, is kind of a way to like speak to them. Which I feel like is kind of important. I don't want to let that fester on its own. I would like to just say like, hello, I think there's a lot of like unfair negativity being spewed out here. I'm not saying I'm an innocent saint or whatever, but I certainly think there's kind of like a whole dynamic happening on these forums that's like kind of sinister, and I kind of am concerned about like the trajectory of it. It also makes me think of the concept of like skin in the game. The concept that like you're putting yourself on the line. Like you could say that I'm putting myself on the line by putting myself online, whereas these people are anonymous, and so they have no like, they have nothing attached to them except this account that's just hateful. So it's just like, it's just kind of like, well, this website's kind of horrible. They're not taking responsibility for their posts. They're not putting anything on the line. They're just kind of hiding and being evil. So that sucks. I wish this place didn't exist. The gummies I was having before were 5 milligrams of THC. Like, I don't mind calling them out, though. Zarek. Zaraki. Sorry. I don't mind just calling them out on it. And like, I also understand that there's another dynamic where it's like, if I hyper focus on negative posts, then I can try to become like a professional victim or whatever. That's kind of not what I want to do. I want to speedrun Zelda. So I'm not really trying to start like a fucking war. I'm not trying to start like a whirlwind of like energy of like posts between me and them, or like, I'm not really trying to do that. I'm just trying to say like, hey, like, in many ways you're misconstruing me. You're obviously misconstruing all these other people too. Not to say that people don't have flaws, or that people don't do eccentric things, or that people don't do shitty things, and that I'm not saying gossiping about it's necessarily wrong. I know I've done a lot of silly things, but there's definitely kind of like there's definitely a kind of element of like, focus on negativity, extract everything and turn it all as bad as possible, and then project it out. Twist it as much as you can. It's just like about distorting images. It's about meme. It's about distorting image. There's this subreddit that I browse occasionally called Sorcery of the Spectacle, and occasionally there's a good post. Often there's not, I think, but it seems like occasionally there's a good post, which has to do with like information, the internet, the spread of information, and like meme warfare, and just like what is happening. And it's kind of interesting to think about. And I think about these kind of communities like gossip Reddits, sometimes 4chan, and also kiwifarms. And these are kind of like similar in that they take a symbol or an image of like me, for example, or someone else that they talk about, and then they like take it and they try to extract certain qualities from it to like build a certain type of image. And you can like see that there is a focus on negativity and like kind of tearing people down. That's like kind of inherently built into the whole like ecosystem of that place. And I don't know if that just says something about like human nature, but it's definitely like, it's there. It's like visceral. I think that the thing it might say about the human condition just has to do with like like, I have to, okay, like, this is my own personal projection now based on what I've seen. So now I'm playing into the meme warfare right now. I will now play into the meme warfare right now. So I have to imagine that a lot of the kiwifarms posters are people who kind of feel small. They feel, or they have felt worthless before. They have felt downtrodden or bullied. And they feel angst and bad about life. And then there is examples of some other people who have allegedly fucked up really big, who are being shit-talked, and they see that and then they're like, wow, I'm not fucking up as bad as this person's a real failure. And then it probably makes their failures feel smaller, and they probably find comfort in finding someone to punch down at. I think that might actually be how the kind of psychology of a website like kiwifarms functions. Which is kind of sad. It's sad. You could just run any percent date Clint. You could say shitposting for the lulz, but there's also some posts with like thousands of posts obsessively over the course of years. And sometimes it is quite sinister. There's definitely some more innocent posts. Like, it's not all like that, but it kind of like trends in that direction though. I mean, drama can be fun, for sure. What would the ideal internet look like? Like, is this type of punching down behavior not something that can be like eliminated? Are humans just always gonna be like this? They might be. Like, life is always gonna be kind of unequal, and so there will always kind of be a kind of inequality, I think, or at least it'll feel like that, I think, for people. People will feel jealous, and they'll feel small, or they'll feel unlucky, and that goes across a whole different range of things. And so there'll always be a kind of like, I think, I don't know, that's too, like, life's too complicated. So there's always going to be a kind of like inequality. Life at its core is all survival. You know, I want to survive too. I hope we can all survive. I don't... Okay, here's the, like, okay. If you say it's about survival, it's not like, god damn it. Like, think about how, okay, here's an example. Like, think about how much energy the sun shines down upon Earth, like, every day. And how much that we don't capture yet. You know how much gains we can make by just, like, capturing all that energy? For, like, everybody. It's not like a limitation where some people have to prosper and other people suffer because of some people prosper. It's not like for one person to prosper, the other has to like be small. I mean, I I mean, I think there's always going to be kind of inequality, but like, I think raising the standards of living for everybody is possible. And even once we do that, life will still be unfair, of course. But I don't know. I think life can be better for everybody. And so I think there's real progress to be made. Real progress. Which doesn't necessarily mean that you need to drag other people down. I don't know. I guess it's funny because like here's like the leaderboard for all main quests. We have like a ranking there, right? Like for one person to be at the top of the ranking, someone else has to be below them. And that's something that's kind of celebrated in I guess speedrunning. That's interesting to think about, maybe. I'm actually going to try to contribute towards this stream or just philosophize about it. I think that there's definitely a real contribution happening just through the act of speaking about these things. And then other people also listening to it. The idea that the spread of information and just getting people to think does change the world. But yeah, I don't know. Life's really messy. Like right now we have Trump and there's like he's focused on coal and like it's kind of bad. So yeah. Life is really, 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 really complicated. I'm not trying to like take all of life and like squeeze it into one little philosophy or something. That's not really, I'm not trying to do that. Clean energy is only one thing. Like that's only one aspect. But that's definitely a thing though. See people argue about waifus. Yeah, I think there's not that many bad blood rivalries in speedrunning. There tends to be some collaboration and friendship near the top of the leaderboards or whatever. I think that tends to be true. Not always, but like Juanti and I are really friendly with each other. Yeah, I've watched a bunch of ContraPoints videos. I don't follow her super closely, but yeah. Yeah, okay, some people say it's actually kind of bad to like hide strategies, but I think it can be kind of cool when someone just like busts out some next level stuff that no one's seen before. It's kind of like a flashy way to achieve victory. I mean, that being said though, my philosophy with speedrunning now is to stream everything and record everything. Yeah, I was actually thinking about maybe playing more today. I already played for like over 4 hours today. There's like more work I need to do. We got up to like the desert launches and I was like, oh, I don't have enough health. I need to get more healing items. So I was gonna start a new file and like fix it. I'm assuming you mean speedrun.com leaderboards. I just have like a different view of how I'd want the runs to be ranked. And so I just set it up the way I want it to be. Yeah, glitches and stuff. I have like over 300 Breath of the Wild videos on my YouTube account. That's like close to 2,000 hours of video. So it's a lot. I've just decided not to put my runs there because my runs would be somewhat misrepresented by the way the rules are set up. So I just set it up the way I wanted it to be. Would I commentate a run? Maybe. Maybe. When did you start playing Breath of the Wild glitches and stuff? In what ways could they be misrepresented? At the moment, they combine Switch and Wii U runs on the same board. They combine Master Mode and Normal Mode on the same board. And they also don't show the language of the run very well. They just kind of put like a region flag instead of saying what language it's in, and they don't account for language time differences. And I like to run in English so everyone can read it, but there is like a time differential there. It's a small difference. It's not like a big deal, but there's just some issues where I'd like to have the board set up the way I want it to be set up. I've always been kind of like a leader in speedrunning and have my own kind of vision for the way I want things to work. And with Breath of the Wild, it's not really any exception. I just want to run the game a certain way, like a certain rule set. I mean, eventually there might be a commentated run, we'll see. I'm actually still like routing, so yeah, we kind of already talked about the what's in the topic title. I can see it, like, I'm assuming there's probably more posts on kiwifarms now because I did this stream, but yeah, I don't know. Whatever. It's whatever. Yeah, Juan-T and I just submit to the leaderboard right here, this leaderboard. Yeah, I like Zant. Zant has been pretty friendly and has found a bunch of cool things. Would a true 90% run, no rules, get to the last input as fast as possible, be any fun? Some people do that. It's called like okay, so what would that be? That would be playing on the Wii U digital, playing in German, using Amiibo, and any percent on normal mode. Some people do that, but if I did any percent, I would do the same rules as all main quests that I do. So I'd play I would play Master Mode, no amiibo on the Switch. That's what I would do. But it's just a personal preference. It's just personal preference. Anyway, I think I might go. I don't have anything else to say, so I might go. Or I might like end the stream now, then come back for a Breath of the Wild thing maybe, or maybe I'm done for the, I don't know what to do actually. Guess I'll finish my beer though. Setting up a new site or forum? No. I'm kind of managing ZeldaSpeedruns.com. I'm gonna add information about weapon durability and stuff, and flesh out the site a bit more at some point, but Mushba, thank you. Alright. Thank you for watching my little discussion vlog, or whatever, and having a conversation with me. I think, I'm gonna go for now. I'm probably just gonna listen to music. And I might stream more Zelda later today, but if not, then tomorrow. Anyway, thank you. Goodbye.